A Washington doctor who faced a disciplinary hearing has reached a settlement with the state. 2 years ago, the King 5 investigators exposed Dr. Anna Elprin's scheme to make money during the COVID pandemic.
Our team also found numerous other complaints in state records against the Ellensburg doctor. Chris Ingalls reports at least one of her former patients is unhappy with the ruling that allows her to keep her doctor's license.
We do a lot of anti-aging skin procedures.
Dr. Anna Elprin was the sole practitioner and owner of Awake Health. Her treatment was unlike any that other doctors had prescribed when trucker Dee Dunphy, a diabetic, came to her Ellensburg office for a medical exam in 2021.
Yeah, she took me off 3/4 of my medications that my regular doctor, Nat Cheese, had me on. I paid around $400 for her to give me some kind of nature pills. I mean, it wasn't really prescription pills from a pharmacy.
Barely a month later, Dunphy ended up in Memorial Hospital in Yakima.
They put me in the hospital and I'd had a stroke. I believe that she had a lot to do with me having a stroke and them seizures, when I had seizures and everything, by making me go cold turkey.
Dunphy's complaint is one of more than 30 in state records filed against Dr. Elprin. She came to the attention of the King 5 investigators 2 years ago when an anonymous tipster told us she was issuing hundreds of medical exemptions from the COVID vaccine at a time when the jabs were required by many employers.
Are you running a vaccine exemption mill here?
No.
Where you're taking payments and signing exemptions with no questions asked?
Absolutely not.
But we sent in undercover journalists posing as patients who recorded Dr. Elprin signing waivers certifying that they had medical conditions that made the COVID vaccine unsafe.
She said that if an employer was ever to ask me about my vaccine exemption, that would be considered blatant workplace harassment.
There were no medical questions or exams required, only the fee, up to $200 per person.
The priest of the Awake Health.
Several former employees also filed complaints and supplied video, alleging that Elprin was drinking and using drugs on the job and pretending to shoot them with the handgun that she has a permit to carry.
Doc thinks she's joining the Marines.
Elprin, a doctor of osteopathic medicine, was scheduled for a disciplinary hearing last month. But in June, the Board of Osteopathic Medicine, made up of other DOs, quietly settled on an agreed order. They found Elprin committed unprofessional conduct with 9 patients, although Dr. Elprin is not required to admit or agree with the allegations. She'll pay a $5,000 fine, submit to state audits, and no longer issue COVID waivers or perform Department of Transportation medical exams like she did for Dee Dunphy. But she keeps her doctor's license and can still practice medicine.
What do you think about that?
I don't think that's right. I don't think she should be able to keep her license myself.
What would you say to the medical board that let her keep her license?
I'd say that she completely ruined my life.
My goal is to help people to do their daily activities.
Yuri Soronikov, a DO seen in this Skagit Regional Health video, was on the panel of doctors that decided Elprin's fate. As panel chair, he signed the disciplinary order. Dr. Soronikov refused to speak with the King 5 investigators. So did the Washington Department of Health. But in a statement it said, Dr. Elprin's case is an example of a board considering all available evidence and arriving at what the board believes is the best outcome. DOH said there was insufficient evidence to prove Elprin was drinking or using drugs at work. In short, doctors, other DOs, handed down the discipline, working in secret. A print shop now inhabits the building where Dr. Elprin used to practice, and the state says she's out of business. Although she's held on to her doctor's license, she still faces problems from at least one state agency. Before we visited her office in 2021 with our hidden cameras, the State Department of Labor and Industries was already investigating Elprin for blatant COVID violations, including refusal to wear a face mask. L&I says it's still trying to collect $40,000 in fines from her. Elprin did not respond to our repeated requests to comment for this story. Dee Dunphy's complaint was sustained by the disciplinary board, although the board did not say that Elprin was responsible for his stroke. His days of driving a truck are over.
It really messed up my life in the long run because I haven't been able to work for 2 years.
Chris Ingalls, King 5 News.